Hi, everyone. This is Krista McGregor coming to you from Key Elements. I am just so thrilled to be here. I am your local health coach, and I'm on a journey this year to do some video interviewing with some of my favorite people who have made a huge impact on my journey in becoming a certified health coach and working with clients. So I have asked Dr. Bernie Siegel to be here with me today and share a little bit of his story with you. Bernie has written several books. He has worked as a pediatric and general surgeon, and now is author, inspirational speaker. And I can tell you what moved me most about Dr. Bernie when I was going through my Institute for Integrative Nutrition schooling. He was one of my teachers, is the way that he was able to help clients form a relationship with their illness, which allowed them to heal emotionally and physically. So I'm just so excited to have him here with me today. Thank you so much, Bernie, for agreeing to be interviewed. And I just would love if you could share your story from pediatric and general surgeon to inspirational speaker, author, and what brought you along that journey to where you are now.
Well, it was interesting. I'd say a big part of what brought me there is the inadequacies of medical training. You get information, but not an education. You're not taught how to take care of people. And it took over 50 years since I graduated from medical school to send the same letter back to the dean of the medical school saying, you made me, a good technician, but you didn't teach me how to take care of myself or my patients. It took 50 years for one of the deans to answer after I said nobody has ever answered this letter. And that's the sad part, as I say, of medicine, that this sentence says it well. Doctors are trained to treat the result and not the cause. The medical ad in a major medical journal from a pharmaceutical company. I'm depressed, unable to cope. I went to see my physician. He prescribed an antidepressant. I feel better now. I wrote them. I said, look, I've had a tragedy. I'm depressed. Don't you think the doctor ought to say to me, what's going on in your life? Not, here's a pill, goodbye. Put in another line in your ad that says, sit down, tell me what's going on in your life. Then you could say, I feel better now. Cancel the ad. That was very interesting to me. Rather than humanize it, they just canceled it. And so again, what changed me? I went out seeking ways of helping my patients. Because it's also, well, the suicide rate in physicians is higher than the general population. Because if you go into medicine for the right reasons, caring about people, it gets painful because you can't fix everything.
Yeah.
And there are no conferences on how to deal with your feelings. Everything is on classifying why somebody died or, all the problems, but not the feelings. And I went to a workshop and it turned out I was the only doctor in the room. And I thought it was run by Dr. Carl Simonton. He wrote the book, Getting Well Again. And I thought, oh, here, I can go learn some more from him and bring it to my patients. It blew my mind. This was in New Haven area in Connecticut, that not one single oncologist in the whole state even came to that meeting. Because it was about cancer and imagery and all kinds of things to empower cancer patients. But the good thing was I'm sitting there and all my patients see me and sat down around me. The one who became my coach was a young lady with breast cancer, and I don't know where she is, or I just wish she would hear me say this and show up someday. But she said, you're a nice guy. I feel better when I'm in the office with you, but I can't take you home with me. So I need to know how to live between office visits.
Yeah.
That shifted my whole perspective because I thought, wow, if I can help people live, I'm not a failure. Even if I don't cure their disease, I'm helping them.
Right.
But again, what awakened me? Imagine sending 100 letters to your patients saying, if you want to live a longer, better life, come to a meeting. They all had cancer. I expected them to bring relatives and friends because the secretary had forgotten to put in, this is only for people in our office, you know. And so I'm expecting 200-300 people to show up. Doesn't everybody want to get well? Well, 12 women appeared. That blew my mind.
Yeah.
And my wife was the one who labeled them exceptional. You know, so the group became exceptional cancer patients because these were people who were willing to come, read a book, draw a picture for me. You know, they weren't afraid of being failures. I mean, I have people who hand me a drawing and say, oh, I had my 10-year-old do this. I'm not good at drawing. Lady, you're trying to get over cancer and you're worried about a drawing? I mean, how does that fit in? But, you know, they would find excuses. Oh, the meeting's too far away. I'm still running support groups. And I let them know, you know, the people who drive an hour to get to the meeting do better than those who live 5 minutes away. Literally. I mean, these are studies also that are done because it's the motivation, the personality of the person. And I now call it survivor personality, that you can present people with a simple set of questions that are on my website, Immune Competent Personality, put together by a psychiatrist working with AIDS patients. Because he realized before all treatments were available, he could predict who was going to be a survivor by their personality.
That's so interesting.
These simple questions. And those are things that I realized too, that when you said to people, how come you didn't die? They always had a story. Because I would meet people out lecturing. I'd look in the audience and I'd say, oh, well, let me give you a specific example. One gentleman who retired. You see, now a poet, W.H. Auden, wrote about cancer. Childless women get it, and men when they retire. It's as if there had to be an outlet for their foiled creative fire. The doctor, when I recited that, said to me, just because it rhymes doesn't make it true. But what I've realized is it is true because the poets and the novelists are watching the world. So they're writing about what they see. They're not making it up. And this gentleman retired as a landscaper and developed an ulcer, which turned out to be cancer. When I said, we need to get you right in the hospital because it was thought to be a stress ulcer. So he lived with it for a couple of months. He said, you forgot something. I said, what? It's springtime. Gonna go home, make the world beautiful. So when I die, leave a beautiful world. He came back several weeks later and said, okay, I'm ready. We operate. After surgery, I said to him, John, I couldn't get all the cancer out. You should have more treatment. You forgot something. What did I forget this time? It's still springtime. I'm going to go home, make the world beautiful. So when I die, I'll leave a beautiful world. 6 years later, our nurse handed me his chart, and I said, he's dead. We must have 2 patients with the same name. And she said, open the door. So I opened the door to the examining room, and there sat John. What was his complaint? I have a hernia from lifting boulders in my landscape. He lived to 91. He, what I call, turned off his switch after his wife died, you know. But I can always remember at his 70th wedding anniversary, getting up to give a speech about him and what he taught me about how beautiful the world was. I mean, you took a walk with John in the woods, everything got, you know, to be beautiful. There were no weeds, if you know what I mean. Everything was beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what I began to learn. You'd see people, and if you said, oh, what are you doing here? You know, and they'd tell you a story. And let me go to the extreme. I mean, these are people who accepted that they would die in a couple of months. I mean, one bought a house on the ocean. He was a millionaire, canceled the dress code at work. He stopped wearing a tie, and I can't wear a tie anymore because of him. And no jacket. You know, there's no dress code for his employees or himself. And his wife said, buy the house on the ocean, sit and listen to Bernie's tapes and you know, relax and just look out at the sea. He lived over 5 years. The fellow who was close to death said, I'm going out to Colorado to die in the mountains. It's beautiful there. I was very upset when I did not get a phone call to come to the funeral. So I called up a year later, and he answered the phone, of course, and said it was so beautiful here I forgot to die. Oh, another lady, I get such a kick out of this letter I have. The doctor told me I had 2 months to live, and this time I agreed with him. So I went home and I bought a dog. I put in a backyard wildlife habitat. I laughed more and I took some vitamins. The letter ends with, and I didn't die. Now I'm so busy, I'm killing myself. Help me in the year. And people have to realize, you see, the other side of the coin was I would get blamed by doctors for asking people what's going on in your life. See, what might have made them vulnerable to be sick at this time?
Right.
Because, well, like Monday morning, okay, we have more heart attacks, strokes, suicides, and illnesses. So again, you can't separate your feelings, your emotions.
Right.
And if you're twin sisters, and you say to an audience, who's more likely to get breast cancer? The good girl who makes mommy and daddy happy and, you know, buries all her feelings inside, or her devil of a sister who's doing her thing. Everybody votes for the good girl. So it's not blaming people, but it's saying, why might you be susceptible?
Right.
And I came across something Jesus said, which I thought was interesting, that people didn't criticize him. He said, it is done unto you as you believe.
That's right.
So they should have yelled at him and said, you're blaming us for everything. But it's, again, your beliefs become your chemistry.
Right. That's
so
right.
If you hate every day, your body does you a favor, saying, get you out of here.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave our kids health days. I'd forgotten this. I did it years ago. Because we have 5 children. I said to them, look, you don't have to get sick if you don't want to go to school. I will give you a week every semester when you can come in the kitchen and say, Dad, I'm taking a health day. And I don't care what you're doing. You could stay in bed. You can go out and play in the yard. But you don't have to go to school, and I won't question you. See, because that was a way to tell them, you don't have to get sick to get attention or to get, you know, cared about or anything else. Because I saw a lot of people with that too.
Yeah, that's so smart.
They draw their disease. It's, you know, and that's how they get their attention and wear the family out and everything else. But you shouldn't need that. I mean, you're worth something, and have self-esteem, self-worth, and ask for what you need. So
true. Yes. So share with me, if you will, a couple of stories, maybe in your dealings and work in your groups, and you know, with what you're doing today in your books, and also I think what would be important is if we talked a little bit about impact in your life. And we have probably another like 5 minutes before our session will end. So if you can, you know, just...
Well, I think 2 phrases. One is, he who seeks to save his life will lose it. He who's willing to lose his life will save it.
I love that.
My interpretation is, you see, that when you try to please everybody else, you give up your life.
Yeah.
My parents didn't say, we want you to be a doctor. Yeah. They didn't even want me to be a doctor. But you see, the parents I had gave me mottos to live by.
Right.
What do you want to be when you grow up? I would say, how am I going to decide? My mother would say, do what makes you happy. Mm-hmm. I had a horrible day. God is redirecting you. Something good will come of this. Mm-hmm. Now, those things drove me nuts. See, I had to keep figuring out what to do, what will make me happy. And God was redirecting me. But what I learned was, I don't know the future and what will come of this. And because my father lost his dad at age 12 to tuberculosis, big family with no insurance because of his TB, he learned that material things were to make it a better world for other people. So he was always helping others, and that was ingrained in me too. You know, like you read a newspaper article, you send somebody some money, or you help a kid pay their tuition at school, and it's such a gift because of the feedback.
Right. So important. I agree.
Yeah. And so again, it's growing up with what I call mottos to live by, not die by.
Yes.
What others hear from teachers, parents, doctors.
Yep.
And that we can reparent each other.
Yes.
That when people have been abused, one young lady said, you're my CD. I said, what's that? She said, you're my chosen dad. And what I learned from her, and I've kept doing, and there are people alive today because I've said to them, I love you, I'll be your father. And I don't have to like what they're doing, understand that. But as a physician, I could give them return appointments. See, the opposite of love is indifference, rejection, and abuse. But when this person comes along who says, hey, I'll see you next week, you begin to realize I must be worth something. He isn't treating me the way everybody else did.
Yeah.
So it saves lives. And they become, in a sense, part of your family.
Right.
And people can reparent themselves too. I often say, create shrines in your home and your office. Put your own picture up and give yourself that love.
Yes. And I teach.
If I had to summarize it, it's love your life and love your body. And choose life. See, I place before you life and death, good and evil, choose life. One of our books is called The Book of Miracles. And the miracles you could call coincidences. But when they happen to people was when the people made the choice to contribute love to the world. See, in a way they decided.
Yeah.
And then they benefited as well as everybody else.
It's so beautiful. I love that.
Life. And then you'll be amazed at who you meet and what happens and all kinds of things that are not coincidences because your consciousness has created them. And
that is what you taught me at IIN, and that is how I operate in my health coaching practice. And I just absolutely love that. So I just want to thank you so much, Bernie, for being with me. And this is just like an opportunity of a lifetime for me to be able to talk to you one-on-one.
Let me add one, well, I never stop, I know, to interrupt you, but just so people understand that the consciousness can speak through dreams and drawings, not just words.
Yeah.
Yes, I hear words and I'm not psychotic. I mean, I hear people, you know, a voice at times, but also the dreams and the drawings, so that consciousness knows your future, past, the best choices. And then there's no conflict in you.
Right.
When you live in your head, you can make a lot of wrong choices.
Yeah.
But when you're letting your heart make up your mind, your consciousness speak, then you make the right choices for you and your future.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So what is your web address in case people want to contact you?
It's Bernie Siegel, S-I-E-G-E-L, BernieSiegelMD.com.
Okay.
The, you know, whatever they put in, if they write to me, email me, it'll come to me.
Yeah.
And I'll answer them. And also on the website are a variety of CDs, books, articles I've written, which they can read. I mean, you know, we'd be talking all day if I got into those. But again, how powerful the mind is. You know, you mentioned I did children's surgery. The kids believed in me and had faith in me. So I realized I was hypnotizing them just by talking to them. And so one article is called Deceiving People into Health, because I learned to lie to people for their benefit. See?
Yeah.
And believe me, it works. When the doctor says, you know, I'm going to rub your skin and make it numb so you won't feel the needle. And the kids look at me and say, that's wonderful. Why didn't the other doctors do that? They're just hypnotized by my comment.
Right.
What I'm rubbing them with is alcohol to clean their skin.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. Well, Bernie, we'll have to schedule another interview to get into maybe your books or, you know, another subject, because you're just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, we could talk about the power of words, you know, the hypnotic effect.
Yes, that would be great.
You know, those who care about you and how they do it in a beneficial way.
Yeah, so we'll ask our viewers to stay tuned, and we'll do another one. So thanks so much for joining me, and just thank you so much for just the difference you've made in my life and my clients' life. The way that I run my practice is based a lot on what you've taught.
I would add that all we can do is be your coach, you know, like when you're a student at IIN.
Yeah.
But when you show up for practice, then the combination begins to work.
That's right. I tell my clients the same thing. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Bernie. Thanks so much. We'll do
all right. Bye-bye, dear.
Okay. Take care.